Hi guys, it's Kelly Latavola here, and I'm back with another video for Honeybee Stamps. Before we get into the card, I just want to let you know that I'm doing my voiceover in an area that I don't normally do it, so if you hear any weird background noises, my apologies. So I'm going to use the Piece of Cake set, the Pumpkin Patch, I cannot get enough of this one lately, the Friendship, and then the Tea Time, as well as the, I think it's the polka dot stencils. I'll have to look it up. It'll be linked below. And then the double stitched squares. So I got lots of products going on here, but that's because I'm doing lots of things. So one of the reasons why I'm doing so many things is Happy World Card Making Day. Typically I don't get to participate in World Card Making Day because usually I'm too busy working. But today I actually did get to play along. And the reason that I have so much going on is because Honeybee Stamps has so much going on. So they actually have a Facebook group that is all about World Card Making Day, and the challenges are going through, well, some of the games, let me put it that way. The games are going through 8:30 tonight. The challenges you'll have until 1 p.m. tomorrow to enter. There's lots of product giveaways, gift card giveaways, just lots of like interactive fun. So if you haven't been over to that Facebook group, I will link it below on YouTube, and you can go over there and check it out. Maybe win yourself some goodies, as well as connect with some other card makers, which really is about, you know, the whole craft community is just wonderful. So here, I'm not super worried about getting a perfect blend all over my card base, as you can very well see. But one of the challenges they have going on over there is ink blending. So check ink blend. So I wanted like a pinkish purple blend, and I'm going to take the Dusty Concord. The name totally eluded me for a second, all the way down to the bottom. And the reason that I'm doing the whole panel is just in case you can see in from the side on the shaker, to make sure that that color is there as well, so it doesn't look strange. And then I always do my ink blending twice. It's just how I feel like I get the smoothest blend. So I'm going from the Picked Raspberry Seedless Preserve Dusty Concord Seedless Preserves Picked Raspberry. And apparently I'm going to pick now to lose my voice. So once that is all done, then I'm going to put my stencil in place, which is another challenge that they're doing, is using a stencil in your card. So I'm checking here to make sure I'm happy with my ink blending in the area that'll actually be seen, and then I'm going to put my stencil in place. I don't typically like busy cards. It's just not really my style, though this card is substantially busier than most of the ones that I do. So you'll have to let me know what your opinion is if you are a pretty constant viewer of mine and you know what my cards normally look like. Please let me know if you enjoy this style of card. But anyway, I'm doing just tone on tone so that the polka dots aren't so in your face. They're more just in the background. And then I'll check that again with the frame to make sure that there's polka dots in all of my areas, and then I'm going to move on to the stamping. So in doing the stamping, there's a lot of different sets in here because World Card Making Day, I did want to include some elements of things that I loved to make cards with. So like the Piece of Cake stamp set, when they first came out with the stamp set, I totally loved it. I used it a ton, so I thought that it would be fun to kind of bring that back in. Anything with a mug, you know I'm sold on because I love all the coffees. And then one of the other challenges they have is a fall themed card, which is where the other ones kind of come into play. I thought that it would be super fun to do like a carrot cake with like a leaf egg corn. You know, they'd have to be fondant, of course, so that they would be edible and you wouldn't just have weird random crunchy leaves on your cake. But, and then the pumpkins just for like the visual. So I told you with you saw me playing with the sequin set earlier. That's how I'm picking all of my colors. I just thought that that was such a pretty set, and it's got all these like iridescent leaves in it and really great fall colors, and I thought that that would be a super fun way to pick my color palette, though they do have one of the challenges going on over there is a color palette challenge. So if you want to go take a peek and see if you want to make something with those colors, that would probably be better. Then you get a chance to win, know what I'm saying? But I decided that I was going to go based on the sequins that I was going to put in my shaker. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, this color combination, this tealish color, was kind of too muted for me, and so I am going to change it at the very last minute, like the last minute. But I just wanted to show you. Also, I picked the BG11. It was not really blending great with the BG72. I just didn't really love it. So ultimately, after I build up all of this color, I am going to take the BG72 and just give it a once over everything. It won't completely get rid of my shading though, because I have built up all of these layers at this point. So you'll still see some of that brightness shining through for the BG11, but I just couldn't get it to blend the way that I wanted. And I figured it was better to have a 3-color blend than it would be to have a cup that I wasn't happy with the way that it was blended. So, for the cake, I was thinking it would be cute to do like a maple or a carrot cake or something like that. The carrot cake idea actually came in because of the way that I spent my days off. So Thursday was my regular day off, and that day was taken up for other things. So I didn't have a chance to get done any of the things that I wanted to get done. Then yesterday, Eric had asked me about, I think it was late last week, about maybe going out to dinner with his family and then inviting them over because they had not met Emma yet. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. We haven't seen your parents, and I really do like his family very much. They're very easygoing people, but so when I tell him this, I tell him like after Thursday, I might not feel so great. So you may be the only person cleaning the house, just so you know. And his response is, babe, the house is clean. And I feel like this is a boy thing. Let's go back to the card for a second. So I am going to add some texture to the cake, especially since I wanted to have that carrot cake look. So I'm doing just a series of dots, and I'm going to do this with all of the colors so that it creates some lighter areas and darker areas and gives it lots of texture, which a cake would have when you slice it, since it has the kind of the peaks and valleys in it that make it very full and fluffy when you bake a cake. So the reason I feel like this is a boy thing is because as soon as I told my mom, she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your day off? And I was like, I have to clean the house. And she was like, why are you cleaning the house? And I said, Eric's parents are coming over. And her response was, oh, yeah, exactly. So I didn't even have to explain it to my mother. She knew exactly what I was talking about. However, his response is, the house is clean. And I'm like, not your parents come to my house for the first time clean. That's not that kind of clean. There's a difference. Now, am I a crazy person, or is there a difference? Then also, I say to him, we're going out to dinner. I'm going to bake something because we're inviting your parents over to the house. Is there anything you would like? And he says carrot cake. Well, his father had previously requested carrot cake for me for Father's Day. But then something happened that I didn't end up making it out there for Father's Day. I think maybe I worked and we did like my dad's thing on another day. So I've already gypped the man of carrot cake one time. And so I'm like, all right, I'll make the carrot cake. That's no problem. Well, I thought it was no problem, but I'm terrible at time management. I'm already late to the World Card Making Day shindig. I mean, I'm late to everything, and not fashionably so. I mean, like, genuinely late. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who feel like being late is extremely rude, and I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that I am a perpetual optimist, and I always think I have more time than I do. I don't. The time isn't there, but I think it is, and that's just how I roll. So, anyway, so I get up in the morning, and my game plan is to start cleaning the house after I get Peanut off to school. So I get Peanut up, I get him ready, I move him off to school, I come home, and I put the girls outside on the lead. Now, Emma is a digger. Molly is not a digger. I've never had a dog that was a digger. So I didn't really, still really don't know what to do with it. Apparently there is a way that you can manage the digging. I don't know what that is. I have to do some more research. But she is in fact a digger. So she's out there on her lead, and I go back in the house, I'm making coffee, and I look out the window and it has started kind of drizzling. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back outside, get the dogs. Here is where I made my error. Okay. I know my dog. Molly and I have been together for 8 years. I know her. I can, with pretty good accuracy, predict how Molly's going to react to things. So I know when I go out there and let Molly off of her lead, but don't put her on the leash, Molly will go to the door. And since Emma likes to follow Molly wherever she goes, I figure Emma will also follow Molly to the door because Molly abhors the rain. She just doesn't like it. She does not like to be wet. She doesn't like baths. She doesn't like lakes, water, swimming. That's not for my girl. Okay? So that's what happens. I let Molly off the lead. Molly goes directly to the door, as I knew she would. I let Emma off the lead, and instead of following Molly to the door, like I think she will, she veers left and is happy as a clam playing in the rain. Side note, I am going over this pumpkin because I have a natural tendency to like brighter colors. I'm going over it with the E33 just to tone down some of those colors. That, again, will change later because, you know, I just told you I like brighter colors. So I'm using the same browns for the cake with the addition of the E39 for my little acorns. So she veers left. She's off playing in the rain. And then Molly thinks she's got FOMO. She's got fear of missing out. She thinks Emma's going to have some fun that she's not going to have. So then Molly takes off after Emma. Now, I'm after both of them with the leashes in my hands, yelling like a crazy person. I'm sure my neighbors think I'm a psychopath. Trying to get these dogs rounded up so I can get them back on their leashes, which I finally do. And I'm very, very unhappy with them, as I'm sure that you can imagine. Now, I know that this is my own fault, but I also feel like Molly knows better. Emma, not so much. But my Molly, she definitely does. So I get them back in the house, and then I look at them, and I realize that from the digging and the rain that we've now played in, they're covered in mud. So I have to give them baths by myself. Emma, she's 25 pounds. No big deal. I can get her into the tub, get her out of the tub. No issues. She likes the water, as I've just told you. Molly, who does not like the water and weighs 70 pounds, which is half, she weighs 70 pounds, 70 plus 70, 140. She weighs more than half of what I weigh. And also now, I have told you my weight, and I maybe should not have done that. But regardless, moving on. So I have to coax Molly into the bathroom, then I have to lift her up. And Molly is, because she does not like the water, you have to watch her the entirety of the time that she is in the tub. I have to tell her she's a good girl and give her lots of pets and all of those things. If for some reason I take my hand off of a part of Molly's body while the bath is going on, she feels as though I am not paying enough attention to her and that she can make an escape. And she will try. So I have to be touching her the entirety of the time I'm washing her. So I finally get that done, and then 2 hours of my life is gone. I get done with that. I go to start the cleaning process of my house. Now, my house is not dirty by any means, but it's not as clean as I would like it for having company over. So I'm going through that whole process of trying to get things all cleaned up. Emma is incessantly ringing the bell. Now, that's how we're training her to go to the bathroom. She's doing very, very well with it. I'm about to jinx myself, knock on wood. She's doing very well with it. She has not had many accidents as of recently. But she's also in the stage where she knows if she rings the bell, she goes outside. So that means she's ringing the bell even after she's gone potty because she just wants to go outside and play. But I'm not confident enough in her yet to tell her no when she rings the bell. Like, if Molly hits the bell and I know she's peed and she's gone potty, like, we're done with it. We're not just going to go out there and play. I don't have a fenced-in yard. I'm not going to stand out there with you while you chew your own leash to try to chase after squirrels. It's not happening. So anywho, she keeps ringing the bell. I'm barely getting anything done. I have to go get Peanut from school, which I do. He comes home, and then his dad comes to pick him up. When his dad comes to pick him up, as we're standing there talking, Emma hits the bell again. Peanut is like, I'll take her out. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. Except for you're 6 and she's almost 4 months old, and you both have the attention span of like a lizard. So they get sidetracked and not a lot of pottying is getting done. So finally I end up having to go out there and take her so that she will go potty. They get on their merry way. And then I am still trying to finish up cleaning, and I haven't started baking anything. So I am like, I'm going to run up to the store real quick and get the things that I need. But I do not have time to go to the actual grocery store. I have to go to the store that's closest to me, which means carrot cake is out again. The things that I do have on hand to make dessert, I can make an apple coffee cake. So that's what I decided I'm going to go with, apple coffee cake. And I figured that's fall-ish, like it's good, we're good, I'll do that. Side note, back to the card. So I'm adding little orange dots here because I didn't feel like it looked carrot cakey enough. I don't even know what that means, but that's what I did. I was happier with it after it was over. Feel free to add orange dots or not to your carrot cake. Okay. I'm going to add little white highlights with my white gel pen, and then I am also going to outline all of them with my EK Success journaling pen. You know how I do. So I go to the store. I purchase the items that I'm there. Emma has chewed my kitchen rug. Like I had a rug in front of my sink. She has chewed that. And so while I was there, I knew that store also sold rugs. I figured I would pick up a new one because I needed it anyway. Grab the couple of things that I need. I stand in the line waiting to check out. I finally check out. Wait, hold on. We're going back to the card again. So here, this is just super thick acetate from Tonic. And I've cut that down to fit my background. If you've never made a shaker card before, they're really very simple. There's lots and lots of really great card makers out there who do super involved interactive cards and shape cards and all of those things. I'm not one of those people. I can do a very simple shaker card, as you're about to see here, and then that's pretty much the extent of my interactiveness. So I would encourage you, if interactive cards are your thing, by all means, go play with those. Shari Moss is one of the Lawn Fawn girls. She's been with them since the beginning, and she's amazing. Her stuff's so good, but she's really great at the interactive ones. And then who did I just see do one? I think it was Mindy Egan, who also very talented. But anyway, there's lots of those. Oh, Kelly Booth too. She makes great cards, like 3D, like three-dimensional cards. But anywho, where were we at in this? Oh, I went to the store. So I get to the store, I wait in the checkout, and I am checking out, and I realize that I have forgotten the vanilla ice cream. So I gather up all of my bags, I go to the back of the store, I get the ice cream, I wait in line again. While I'm standing in line, I say to the gentleman cashier, I have already paid for all of these things, do you need to see my receipt? And he said, yes, if you don't mind. I said, okay. So I'm rooting through the bags, finding the receipt. I show him the receipt, and he says, you're good, here's your receipt for this transaction. Thank you, have a nice day. I grab my bags, I go out to my car, I drive all the way home. I get home, I take my bags out of the car, I go into the house, I unpack all of my bags, and I realize that I do not have the ice cream. So I go back out to the car and I open the trunk. And do you know what's there, people? Not ice cream, because I have forgotten it a second time at the store. Except this time, I don't have time to go back. I just don't. Back to the card. So I've done 2 layers of foam tape to make sure that I have plenty of room for my shaker to move about. Do as I say and not as I do. Also put foam tape on the bottom of your card so everything is level. I forgot to do that until much later in the process because I was rushing, because as I have said, I'm terrible at time management. So also make sure you put the correct back on your card. If you have taken the time to make an ink blended background, make sure that you are putting that ink blended background onto your shaker card instead of just a plain white piece of cardstock as I have done here. So thankfully I had not pushed it down and I was able to pull most of it off. I did have one spot that kind of stuck. It's fine. I pulled off the extra paper and I moved on with my life. Because as I've told you in a copious amount of videos, everything is fixable. So now I'm going to put the correct back on it and then we're going to be able to move on with the rest of the card. So I've forgotten the ice cream twice now. Eric comes over and he is like, hey, how is it going? And I was like, it is not going well. Because while he was on his way over, I also realized that I may not have enough sugar to finish this recipe. Like, how is that even a thing, that you run out of white sugar? So the apple coffee cake has like a crumble on it. And so I made that part first, and then I was scraping the bottom of the barrel to have enough sugar to make the actual cake. So as soon as he walks in, how's it going? I was like, could be better. Can you turn around and go buy sugar? And he was like, yes, I can, which kudos to him for not asking any questions because it was a day, yo. And he said, is there anything else you need? And I said, well, if you want to stop by the store and pick up the vanilla ice cream that I forgot, you could do that. That'd be great. So he goes off to the store. I finish trying to make this recipe. They tell me in the recipe that because it's a double layer cake, so you have 2 different cake pans, that the cake layer will be very thin. And then you put the apples and the crumble on top of it. But when I'm trying to spread the cake layer, it's not even like batter, guys. There was no pouring. It was like dough. It was so thick. And I couldn't get it to spread, and I was so frustrated. By the time I got it into the oven, I was going to be pulling these things out at the time we were supposed to be at dinner. And I was like, listen, we're going to be late. I didn't have time to shower. I went to dinner with my hair in a dirty top knot. Like, this is real life, y'all. Like, I sprayed some dry shampoo on it, put it up in a top knot, and prayed that I was going to be acceptable to be seen in public with. then from there, like once all the things were done, like the rest of the evening was fine, and it was great to see his mom and dad. But like, am I the only one who thinks that? Like, if you're having people over to your house, then there's a certain level of cleanliness that it should be, that you should in fact have something to offer them, coffee and something. And then also, the other thing that we had a conversation about was on the way home. He said, "I cannot wait to put on my pajamas," and I was like, "You cannot put on your pajamas. Like, we have company. You can't put on your pajamas." And he was like, "I spent a good majority of my adolescence lounging around their couch in my underwear. Like, what do you mean I can't put on my pajamas?" Which he may have a fair point there, but also I feel like he's grown now, and like, if you invite somebody to your home, you should not just, well, like, that's not true. I am in my pajamas sometimes. Like, if my best friend comes over, I'm not getting bougie for her. Like, she knows what this is. But other people, like, other family members, or like if you're having a gathering or something, like, you don't walk around in your pajamas, I don't think. But I will go to the store in my pajamas sometimes, you know, if I'm not getting out of the car. You've all seen it if you've been on Instagram, where I've drove to Dunkin' in my pajamas, and that's a regular occurrence. Maybe I'm being too judgmental. I don't know. You tell me if that's acceptable, because I'm not sure. So here you can see I do have a lot going on. It is a little bit busier for me. So for the sentiment, I wanted to use this friendship, and it actually comes out in 3 different pieces. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker, have a little bit more weight to it, since it is a thinner die cut. And originally I grabbed the Hero Arts glossy lacquer, which is also lovely, but I really wanted the glue. And I do like this glue quite a bit. The little precision glue for little teeny tiny pieces parts like this. I do like their glue. So I'm just going to stack 2 white pieces together and then put the black on top. And that's going to be my sentiment, along with a little banner. But anyway, back to this time management business. Like, I know that it's not something that I'm great at. I'm perpetually optimistic that there's more time than there is. And I don't mean, like, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to other people. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things of my personality, I guess. I just perpetually run late. And I've heard other people say that it's, like, creative people a lot of times are people who run late. Do you find that that's true? I don't know. Here I'm just doing the same label that I pretty much do for everything, because I really like the white on the black. It makes it just like super clean, and I like that look. But the Facebook page as well. So if you have not been hanging out over there, I would encourage that you go over and check out the things that they have going on, because it's super fun. And one of the reasons why, you know, card making is so wonderful is because of the craft community that comes with it. So it's another fun way to kind of engage with other crafters. Here I'm using the negative portion of the die cut to make sure that my letters are all lined up exactly the way that they're supposed to. Before you ask, no, I did not save the dots for the eyes, or the tittles as they're called. I didn't save them because nobody's got time for that. I'm not gluing together those little dots. It's not happening. You know it's an I, you know it spells the word friendship. If you would like to do that, then by all means on your card, please do. But I'm not. That's not going to happen in my life pretty much ever. Here you do have to do some like shimmy shaking to get it around the parts that are already adhered. But I think that little bit of finesse is worth it to make sure that my sentiment is straight and everything's where it's supposed to go. And then I'm just going to pop some foam tape on the back of this little label and then put that on here. Now, I told you before that at the very, very last minute, I decided that I was going to change it. So after this is done, I'm going to put the shimmer on all the things, because that's one of the other things that I love to do with my cards, is put the shimmer on all of the things. So, I mean, why would this card be any different? So I like that. I really, really like the background. I really, really like the shaker part of it, like that bright pinkish purple with the teals and the golds. I think it looks super cool. But I didn't love that like sea foam mug. even though it matched the teal that's in the shaker, I just could not get behind that. It was a little bit too muted for me. So I'm going to pull out a BG45, which is still a blue-green, still in that teal family, but it's a little bit brighter. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing. It's not going to change any of the shading. It's just going to add a little bit of brightness to the colors to make it fit in better with that background. Now, in doing this, and then I'm also going to add yellow to the pumpkin. I added brown to tone it down. Now I'm going to add yellow to brighten it back up. You know, this is why I say everything's fixable. But I did have to add the white parts back in, the white highlights, because I colored right over them. But that's it. That's the whole card. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you over in the Facebook group. I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.